Hi, I'm Erik Linask, coming to you from the exhibit hall at the Miami Beach Convention Center, where we're here for the 21st IT Expo event. I'm here now talking with founder and CTO of Allworx, Jeff Szczepanski. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Good. Thanks a lot, Erik. Pleasure to be here.
We've got a lot to talk about, but why not start with the most recent, which is, tell me about the new phone that you've just launched.
Okay, yeah. One of the announcements at the show here for us was the launch of our new 9204 HD wideband G.722 capable phone. This augments our existing line of other phones on the line, which are our 9212 and 9224 phones. What's kind of unique about this, other than its wideband capabilities, both on the handset and the speakerphone solution, is the fact that this one's really tailored to the PBX applications. As our business has been growing and penetrating a more wider base of customers, we find more and more traditional PBX capability use in addition to the key system uses, which are more germane to the original phones that we launched, the 24-button 9224 and 12-button 9212.
Is there any point these days in developing a new phone without wideband capabilities?
That's a good question. I think for the most part, at this point, it's almost on a cost parity in terms of the underlying digital platform, in terms of delivering the compute power necessary to do the wideband stuff. The real cost differences come in the form of the transducers. So there's clearly somewhat of a price premium still for doing the wideband capabilities, but I think certainly looking forward into the next year and beyond, I think wouldn't envision us doing another phone that does not have wideband capability anymore.
Fair enough. And where are we sort of industry-wide with HD adoption?
That's a good question. I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, to be honest, we don't really see a lot of pull from a customer saying that, hey, I got to have HD, or why don't you guys have HD? Like I said, that price parity is just bringing it as a technical enablement of doing it. I think, clearly from a continuous use standpoint, especially when you're doing like conference applications and things like that, the enhanced performance of wideband addresses the fatigue factor, I guess you could say, and improves intelligibility quite a bit at the higher end of the spectrum there relative to, in particular, foreign language speakers, for example, and stuff like that, so for overseas phone calls and things. But yeah, I think for the most part, it is sort of a technology-driven thing, but I think once people are sort of on the other side and are used to HD, there's definitely no looking back at that point. It's going to be, I think, expectation at that point.
What I'll tell your customers is those who aren't asking you for it should be asking you for it.
Yeah, I think that's true. I mean, there's definitely a benefit to it, and again, given a modest, price premium even at this point, there's really no reason not to adopt it.
Let's switch gears for a minute. Talk about your 7.1 release. What are the highlights of that release?
Okay, yeah. I mean, we've been spending, since Allworx got started in 2003 with our initial line of products, we were really focused on a sort of single-site, small business key system use for a voice-over IP system. And over the years, we've been evolving and expanding the feature set to do some of the more vertical market type applications. And a key element of release 7.1 was to really do a full-featured, distributed, no single point of failure multi-site solution. So you have true, complete multi-site integration across a multi-site network. The other main aspect was the addition of a full advanced call distribution and queuing system as part of the product. There was some capabilities before that did some of those things, but now you could say we can handle not maybe a large call center, but a small business call center, customer support line kind of capability. Those are really the two main things. And then the third was the addition of what we call our, what do we call the name? Mobility applications for tie into the Allworx application that we have for the iPhone. And that's really the third major addition there with 7.1, to be able to have your voicemail integrated onto your iPhone, to be able to do sending and receiving of those, changing your presence settings through the iPhone directly, and also being able to schedule conference calls and join conference calls through the iPhone itself.
What kind of interest, what kind of demand are you seeing generated by users for the mobile app?
Yeah, I mean, actually going back to our previous software release in 7.0, when we introduced a more advanced, what we call Find Me, Follow Me type integration with any of the handsets, you get the basic calling integration at level, but we really see it as sort of a customer delight element where people want to go beyond just a straight unified inbox where it's all sort of email-driven kind of solution and actually having direct access to the voice applications on there. So I think, I can't say that anybody was really pounding on, hey, I want an iPhone app to do that. We're actually getting quite a very good reception on the application, and people sort of, through the capabilities of the iPhone or, a solution like this sort of turns people on to what's really sort of possible, and we'll hope to continue to drive those capabilities as we get more people using it, understanding exactly what things people want to do, and then bridge that into future solutions of it.
Speaking of the future, are there plans to develop applications for other mobile platforms?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, the iPhone was sort of the obvious one to do first, given its popularity and sort of the hype, if you will, around a lot of the take-up on that. If you asked me when we started the iPhone app what we would do next, I probably would have said BlackBerry, but at this point, I think Android's probably got a very good pickup, and I think between the Droid stuff and multiple network carrier support, which is also important,
sure.
I think Android's probably the most likely one that we'll announce next.
Cool. Getting back to the multi-site enhancements of release 7.1. So really, what you're talking about is creating a more unified, more integrated view of the entire multi-site network, right?
Right. So I think prior to the advanced multi-site that came in 7.1, you could do basic calling, like you could call an extension to another site as if they were no different than a local user. But from a call routing inbound standpoint, and even line appearance, direct station selection, kind of key system features, those were actually originally isolated to a single site. Now, through the entire multi-site topology from an end user's perspective, there's really no difference between a user located at any site versus another.
What happens? Got a user with 17 sites. One of those remote sites goes down.
Oh yeah, great question. That's actually kind of a unique feature of our capability. There is no single point of failure. We actually developed our system so that it works more like a cloud of systems collaboratively working together. Any one node being lost due to connectivity issues or whatever just really isolates that node, and the entire cloud of the other systems adjusts and automatically push and move data independent of any one particular site. So it's a nice advantage where there's just really no single point of failure, as long as any site that's up can talk to any other site that's up.
Very good. Been talking here at IT Expo with Allworx's Jeff Szczepanski. Jeff, thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks a lot, Eric.
And enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.